Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, yes, still camping, and yes, another absolutely gorgeous day. We're supposed to get some thunderstorms later on this evening, and I'm hoping that's not going to be the case, but who knows here. We've had a lot of rain this year. But anyways, we've got a lot of news to cover here. So first up on the docket, we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation with a brand new Nintendo Switch emulator. And this isn't geared to be some fork of some project that's going to be poorly maintained with just some minor tweaks. This is supposed to be its own brand new thing. And the Switch emulator is called Hydra. So the developer behind this one has a post up on Reddit Emulation, and they say here, for the past 5 months, I've been working on a Nintendo Switch emulator from scratch, and I have hit a significant milestone recently, booting Super Mario Odyssey. The developer then goes on to say, how is this emulator different from any other random Yuzu Ryujinx fork? This emulator is in a very early stage and isn't really usable as of now, but how it differs from the forks is that it is its own thing, and I understand the code base, meaning it has a higher future potential. I still view it mostly as a fun project and a way to learn things rather than something serious though. Based on this post, there are a couple of very interesting things. Well, I'd say the whole post is interesting, but right now it's only running on Mac OS, and that's to speed up development, but other platforms will be supported hopefully in the future. And only decrypted games are supported. The developer does not want to circumvent TPM. Now, in regards to the whole TPM bit, I'm not necessarily sure if it was the circumvention of TPM for decrypting the games that Nintendo had a problem with. I think it was just the entire console, all prod.keys and title.keys files and all of that. We'll have to wait and see here. Hydra is 100% free. It's open source, and there are some progress reports on it. If you're interested in this one and wanted to learn more about it, like everything we talk about, links are in the description below right at the bottom. I don't hide my sources. Now, I think I'm just going to link to the Reddit post here because the Reddit post has further links, and I think it's just easier to take a look at this and see where things are. And speaking about stuff that's free and open source and emulation, next up, we're talking about something I think a lot of people are going to be excited about, and that is Xbox emulation on Android with a brand new emulator here called Zanite. Now, at this point in time, I can't recommend this emulator, and I can't not recommend this emulator. I'm just reporting the news. I have not had a chance to try it out yet. But there is a disclaimer. They say Zanite is a standalone project developed independently without any ties to Microsoft or XEMU. It serves solely educational and personal purposes. Now, at this point in time, the emulator still seems to be very early on in terms of overall development. I don't see an Android or a Windows current build. As for system requirements, it supports Snapdragon, Mali, Helio, and Dimensity processors. Minimum RAM is 4 gigs minimum, 6 gigabytes they say is decent, and 8 gigabytes plus is recommended. I don't know about you, but I am very curious about this one, and I'm curious to where development goes from here, what compatibility is going to be like, and what testing looks like once people get their hands on an actual build of this. If you've used Zanite, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. And speaking about Xbox stuff, next up we're talking about a very interesting video on YouTube. It's brand new here, and it's called The Future of Xbox. And this video was created by Laura Fryer, who used to work for Microsoft Game Studios. I'd recommend checking out the video. It's not even 13 minutes long. And she's got a take here, a few takes that I think aren't necessarily hot takes, but educated and realistic takes. And she says that Xbox's hardware business is effectively dead. Additionally, she says it looks like Xbox has no desire or literally can't ship hardware anymore. And the ROG Ally partnership is about a slow exit from the hardware business completely. I'm not going to lie here, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the matter, so let me know in the comments below if you think that she's got a hot take here and that's way off base, or do you think what she's saying is rooted in fact and a very real possibility? Do you think Xbox will eventually exit the hardware market and pump out software instead? I mean, from my point of view here, I think this actually may be the case. I think Microsoft may be exiting the hardware business in the future at some point in time. If you take a look at things, I mean, the rebrand of the Asus ROG Ally, and also take a look at the rumors that Microsoft canceled their own planned handheld, and also the perceived success of Game Pass. I mean, add all of these things up, and I think there's a very real possibility the future of Xbox consoles is really not a thing. Let me know your thoughts. I mean, the last thing I'll say about this, and this may be a hot take, but Microsoft excels at software. If you take a look at the overall adoption of Windows in the PC market, maybe they're going to try to take a similar approach with Xbox, and I think it may be a successful approach. They've got a proven track record of success with Windows, and why not try to translate that to the gaming industry as well? Again, let me know your thoughts. And speaking about Windows, next up we're still talking about Windows and a very interesting article over on Tom's Hardware. And it's titled, Windows seemingly lost 400 million users in the past 3 years. Official Microsoft statements show hints of a shrinking user base. Now, I know there may be some of you out there thinking that people are flocking to Linux from Windows, and that may not necessarily be the case here. Specifically, this article talks about people jumping to mobile devices like smartphone and tablets running iOS and Android. Now, if that statement is true, I would say I'm not surprised at all. I mean, it seems very plausible and possible and believable, considering how powerful and versatile mobile devices are nowadays. I mean, even outside of gaming, emulation, all of that, just mobile devices in general can do so much. I don't even technically need a PC or a laptop or a Steam Deck if I wanted to run this YouTube channel. I could do everything from a mobile device, recording, editing, uploading. All of that stuff can be done from mobile. I mean, I've done it before. So it's a very interesting perspective overall, and one that I think makes a lot of sense, and probably a lot of you are nodding your head yes. And speaking about handhelds, next up we're talking about the OneXSugar, and there's a brand new video up on Twitter showcasing this thing in action. And this OneXSugar handheld is generating quite a bit of buzz. It features a Snapdragon G3 Gen 3 CPU. I think we've talked about this one in a previous video or two, or three. But anyways, here showcasing how versatile this thing is, and well, a lot of people are taking note and a lot of people are interested. And I may be in talks to possibly get one of these things to review on the channel. Obviously, the OneXSugar is going to be running Android, and it seems super easy to switch from Nintendo DS or 3DS emulation to basically anything else. You want dual screens on this? Doesn't seem to be a problem. You want to switch it to a single screen? Doesn't seem to be a problem. It seems extremely versatile and extremely interesting. Let me know your thoughts about it. I have seen some people talk about the appearance though, and some people saying it looks very fragile, and I can understand that as well. We'll have to wait and see on this one overall. I think it's going to be going up on Indiegogo at some point in time here. But taking a look, I would say this is what the Switch would be if the Switch was more switchy. And speaking about the Switch, next up here we're talking about Nintendo Switch 2 and online NSO usernames. And you may want to be careful if you do have a Switch 2 and you use NSO, and be mindful of the username you choose, because if you choose a wrong one, if you choose an offensive one, you could get your entire Switch banned, not just the account. This story is being talked about in a bunch of different places, but it did appear up on Reddit, and it does appear to be real, and it was posted 13 days ago. So it's titled, Be Careful with Switch 2 Usernames. I let everyone in my family use my Nintendo Switch 2 system, and as a result, my sister uses it. Her username was recently changed to Twink Link and Console Ban. I am fully prevented from accessing any Nintendo services at all on the system. I'm unable to contact support as they're too busy with complaints right now, but this has been incredibly stressful. We were also excited to be playing Breath of the Wild again, and there is a final edit here, and I think this is worth noting. Permanent system bans cannot be revoked by Nintendo at all. I was told to return my system and use the latest save data cloud backups. I feel kind of trashy doing that because GameStop will inevitably sell it to another customer and the code is no longer in the box. I'm not going to lie, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the matter. I'm going to assume there's going to be a lot of chatter on this one moving forward. I mean, I'm kind of surprised Nintendo went straight to console ban over someone's username. I'm surprised that they didn't just ban the account and leave the console intact, or like put a warning on there and force them to change the username, a username that Nintendo allowed them to put into the system. I don't know here, I've got more questions than answers, but I assume if this is the step Nintendo is taking by flat out banning consoles over something that they're not in agreement with, there's going to be a lot of banned consoles out there. I could be wrong though, but I don't know here. Maybe 2025 will be the year of banned Nintendo Switch 2 consoles. We'll have to wait and see. Some people may say, you know what, it's just the vocal minority of people who had their Switch 2 banned and the majority are absolutely fine. And I would say, yeah, that's probably absolutely true, but at the same time here, If Nintendo can exercise this power on any whim and not be challenged at all, it is a little bit concerning. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.